and welcome to the Love MEESH Podcast. I am your host, Meesh. There are a billion people in the world, and I'm just one of them. And welcome to my podcast, where I'll share my thoughts, opinions, and ramblings, and sometimes I'll have guests, and no subject is off limits. So let the conversation begin. Mimi, go Mimi. It's the Meesha Podcast. Hey, go me, go Mimi. Thanks a billion for listening. You can reach me on other social media platforms at www.linktr.ee/LUV.MEESH. I hope you have a better than great day. Love ya. Talk to you later. Mwah. Bye. Go Mimi. It's the Meesha Podcast. Hey, go me, go Mimi. Hey loves, and welcome to another episode of the Love MEESH Podcast. On today's podcast, we are going to be talking about spiritual hurricanes. But before we get into that, I wanted to go over my recos. If this is your first time listening, hey. If you are returning, hey love, welcome back. I hope that you are able to take something out of this episode. I thought this was really interesting. Let me tell you where this came, how these podcasts be coming to me. So on my lunch break, I usually will go outside and get some sun. So I was sitting on the porch, was eating some watermelon, and the wind was blowing so strong. And it's been cold for a couple of days. Like, what is going on? Feels amazing today, but like, what has been going on? DARPA, we know they be controlling the weather, so what they doing now? But my watermelon plate went whew, like fell on the floor, and I'm like, what the heck? Now watermelon, I had some chunky pieces of watermelon, so I'm like, what? The wind was so strong it knocked it over. And I was like, what is up with this wind? What is up with this storm? So I get my messages from my emails. I had got an email, so that was one, and I just put them together, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a message. So I got an email from Earth Sky News. It's like a constellation, star, planet email that I'm a part of. So they be sending me their little emails, and it was talking about tornadoes. And I didn't pay no mind, so that was 2, right? I get my things in 3. So something in me was like, okay, so what is up? I heard the wind like outside, like, and it was so cold. I'm like, what is up? Okay, what is the spiritual meaning of tornadoes? So I went on Pinterest and I was typing in spiritual meaning of tornadoes. And I didn't get any hits on Pinterest. Pinterest usually give it to me. So I went to Google, what is the spiritual meaning of tornadoes? I found 2 articles, so that's 3. I get my things in 3. So I'm going to go over the articles with you guys today. But I said to myself before I even read that, you don't have to look outside of you for answers. The answers are already inside of you. So what comes to your mind when you think of spiritual and tornado? And I was like, okay, let's start with tornado. Tornado is hot wind and cold wind whirling around, right? And I was saying it could cause destruction. But not all destruction is bad. Sometimes it could, clear the land for you to rebuild. Sometimes it could be devastating and a lot of people die. Just a lot of destruction and disaster and catastrophe, right? So I was like, okay, so let's throw spiritual in there, because that was more of, earth realm, physical. So I was like, a spiritual tornado could mean, good things being mixed around in your life, bad things being, because, hot and cold is the weather, right? So spiritual, I was thinking positive and negative energy are good things and bad things just swirling around, but still having that same effect. Clearing the ground for something new to be rebuilt, or destroying old habits, old ways of thinking, old patterns, old paths, or whatever, so that you can start anew. Same effect, right? Just as above, so below, as within, so without. Everything's a reflection, right? So I was like, oh my God. We always think of this stuff as bad, but if God made everything, everything cannot be bad. It just cannot. So I was saying maybe these tornadoes are a sign to the collective that things are about to be destroyed. There's been a lot of evilness. Like, maybe that's a sign, like, we about to wipe all this shit out. We about to, clear the ground so that you guys can rebuild. I don't know. That's just what was coming to mind when I was thinking of spiritual tornado. So that was just my internal interpretation. And then I went on to read the articles But I just find it very odd that we are in April and one day is 30 degrees and the next day is 80. Like, at this point, what is going on? Are they making us sick? And I've been having like a runny nose, starting to sniffle, have mucus. And I'm like, I haven't had this since December. Like, what is going on? And I feel like we already know DARPA is the government agency that can control and manipulate weather. So I'm like, are they sending out COVID or whatever, this sickness, this disease, through the wind, through the air, which we have no choice but to breathe in? Like, the fuck? So I think the best thing we can do is keep our immune system up, because this is offense and defense. We are in the middle of a game, so always have your guard up and, just be prepared for anything. But as far as the spiritual tornado, I feel like it could be a war going on. Maybe there are things that we cannot see, like angels or aliens or whatever, and they're warring. And to them, it could be a whole war. But to us, it may look like a hurricane. It may look like a tornado. It may look like a volcano. But we just can't see on the other realm what it really is. On the earthly realm, we just, because if Earth is a being, we don't see Earth as a being, right? We see Earth as a planet. We see the ground, the trees, stuff, but it's really a being. So maybe on one of the higher dimensions, we will truly be able to see Earth as the being that she is. So I don't know. I just was like, okay, God, like messages are just coming to me, or I'm listening more, or counting my threes and really like journaling and going within, like, okay, so what is it trying to tell me? And then you can see it from a spiritual level, you can see it from a collective level, you can see it from an earthly level, you can see it from an external level, you can see it from an internal level. And internally, I have been having an internal spiritual tornado as well. Like, my emotions have been all over the place. And forever, as a Cancer moon, I have never wanted to address my emotions, or either happy or sad. But there's a whole spectrum of emotions, which I have got some books to dig deeper into that, which links back to trauma, which links back to messages like your body is trying to tell you. If you are aggravated going to work every day, perhaps it's time to look for another job and find another career. You know what I mean? If your mind starts to change and you start to realize that the agency that you work for is the enemy, then you may not want to do that every day. Again, you may have to change jobs. For example, I wanted to start a nonprofit, but I noticed that a lot of the nonprofits that were about adoption, about saving kids, they were pedophile adoption agencies. So we were literally handing our kids over to pedophiles, and that broke my heart. And I didn't want to do my nonprofit anymore. I said, I'll just do it on my own. I'll just help whoever's in my life however I can, but I'm not going to feed into this monstrous system. So that really broke me down. I just could not believe. So with that being said, something that I wanted to do changed. Also in my life, I've been learning more about things that we agree to just because we're here, man's law versus God's law, just like a spirituality. And I don't agree with a lot of things. For example, if time reversed and we were slaves, I wouldn't agree with that back then. I could be on a whole plantation with a whole master and I would not agree with it. I would say this is wrong. I don't care what the laws say. I don't know who told you because your skin is white and my skin is dark that you could rape me whenever you want, that you could sell my kids, that you could demasculate my husband, that you can make us pick this cotton and not pay us and make us live in shacks and experiment on us, kill us and hang us if we try to run away. I don't care that you have slave catchers. I don't care that you have laws. This isn't even my land. No one even told you to capture me, shackle me, and bring me here. The same feelings that I have about that are the same feelings that I have today about some of the laws. You mean to tell me that I could go kill somebody right now, and if I have money and get a good lawyer, I'm going to go free? Why and how is that okay? But since the rules are there to play them how you play, then let's all play. I remember I was driving one day and I was speeding and I got pulled over and the cop was like, how fast are you going? I was like, 65. And he was like, where are you going? I was like, I'm late for work. He was like, where do you work? I was like, the IRS. He was like, do you know? The reason the IRS was invented was because we needed funding for the war. And once the war ended, the IRS was supposed to end. And he said, slow down out there. Have a good day. I did not get a ticket, y'all. There's a couple of times I haven't got a ticket. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that the agency that I was working for should not exist. So as I've been going down this rabbit hole with spirituality, I just been learning more and more and more about the agencies. And it has hit me like, bitch, as much as you can't stand the government, you most definitely work for them. They're most definitely paying your bills. You aren't happy, you aren't leaving, you're just here. And I feel like there has been like a spiritual tornado of emotions, of depression, of sadness, of anger. Like all these emotions are trying to make me move, and I haven't moved. So I feel like I'm currently in a situation now where I may have to move. But at first, I didn't know how to feel about it. My emotions were all everywhere. But now I feel like it is what it is. I kind of feel at peace. I kind of feel happy. I don't know how to explain this, but I do know that it's time. It's been time to move, and I just have not moved. I haven't taken the steps to move. I haven't taken any actions to move. I've just been upset collecting a check. So sometimes I feel like we may look at things as, oh my gosh, it's maybe the end of the world. But no, it's maybe a brand new beginning that you didn't take. So the universe is going to take it for you. So that's kind of how this podcast came about. I don't know what's going to happen. So, of course, once I find out a little bit more, it's going to be a whole podcast episode on that. But for now, as we await the future, this is kind of what came to me. And it might have been a pre-message because it came before everything happened, like, probably trying to prepare me for what was to come. But I just didn't put two and two together. So I'm going to share this with someone because I think it could help someone like it helped me. And I mean, like, how many times we look at stuff and we never just see a spiritual meaning? What's the spiritual meaning of the sun? What's the spiritual meaning of the sky? What's the spiritual meaning of a tree, a butterfly, a bee? You know what I mean? Your kids, your husband, your house. There's communication all around us, but we're only speaking one language, and maybe a couple if you're, some people are fluent in multiple languages, but we're not speaking the language of nature. We're not speaking the language of spirituality. We're not speaking the language of emotions and feelings. We're not speaking the language of colors and numbers and shapes and animals and plants and tarot and zodiac and universal laws. I mean, there's just so many languages out there. I went to Dollar Tree and I got about 4 stacks of 100 index cards. And I'm just putting, because my Outlook is full, my Pinterest is full, and I literally just put these things in folders. But I wanted to bring them out of digital world and bring them into physical so that I could actually pick them up and like kind of live, eat, sleep, and breathe them daily. So I'm going to write down like all my universal laws, all my index cards, and like shuffle them and let that be my oracle deck for myself. And I've been seeing a lot of oracle tarot readers, oracle readers, spiritual message readers. They've been making their own cards out of index cards. And my messages usually come from like information. So I don't want to make a deck that say, girl, he tried it. Those are good. But because I love learning so much and I want to get these languages down pat, I wanted to do like a language deck for myself, where I can have my numbers. I can shuffle them. I could be like, universe, what number do I need to focus on today? Or I could get my months and shuffle them. Or look at this month and say, what does this month mean? What does this day mean? Where is the moon today? Just to be more in tune with the communication that's given to us every day, that we just look at TV and cartoons and anime and work and work out and just everything but focus. Like, the biggest thing I can take away from this podcast before I go in is tornado is supposed to be hot weather and cold weather swarming together, right? So as a physical being, we are a spiritual being and a physical being. And is that not a tornado swarming around? And I really feel like we are all like walking tornadoes trying to get this shit together, like trying to balance this physical fuck-ass life with this amazing, unboxable, unlimited spiritual life. And it's like the bitch is just not mixing. It's just causing chaos everywhere. And what it's really doing is stirring up the ground so that we can build something bigger, stronger, and better. And I guess we just gonna go through these winds as we learn until it's time to build. So let's start with these recos. I wanted to start with the business reco. I want to recommend Divi. It's www.divihomes.com. Divi, rent to own your home. So a lot of us are paying rent, right? Why not pay rent? No, why not be paying rent towards a house that you're going to own? why not? And why have we just now started to hear about these programs? Like, a lot of times we look at people and they have houses and stuff, and we're like, what do they do? Where do they work? What is their credit score? Honey, they just know shit that you may not know. Now, is this your first time hearing rent to own house? Because I used to see it on Craigslist and stuff like that a lot, but you can actually go to this motherfucking link, type in your information, and get an email right away. A real estate agency is going to contact you. They're going to tell you how much your loan is for and get going. As you're paying your rent, you're putting a certain amount to own your home. Why would you pay 100% rent to someone when you could be paying partial rent to someone and partial down payment for your home? Oh, okay. So share it out with someone. I thought that was, amazing. I just don't even understand why this isn't a whole commercial. Why this isn't on YouTube. Why this isn't on Facebook. Why this is on Twitter. Why this is on Instagram. I just feel like sometimes they don't want us to come up. They want us to keep paying rent because they own those complexes and they're making money not only for themselves, but 10 generations later. And if we all have homes that own our property, where are they going to get their fucking money from? It's like knowledge really is power. And the less we know, we're just going to stay at these levels. So hopefully you could share that with someone. Hopefully you could use it for yourself. Let's be homeowners. Let's have a portfolio full of land, homes. I just told my dad the other day I want to own land. Even if I have to put a RV on there or a trailer on there until I can save up and get my home, so what? I have land. People have homes right now and don't own their land. Ass backwards if you ask me. And I was like, I eventually don't want to work forever because this shit is boof. Hello. But I want to have a condo. I want to have a trailer and a home. I don't want to charge these people 3 times the rent because what the fuck? I do want to make a profit and I do want to thank them for their money because they are helping me with my portfolio. But I want to have my prices lower than the market and I hope that's going to help it stay, occupied. But I want to be able to help my people. So when I go meet the good Lord, he go like, what good deeds did you do? Well, I had 3 freaking properties and I was able to house 3 beautiful families. You get what I'm saying? Because I don't know, they just raping us left and right. But anyways, so that's one. Movie record would be Unbreakable. If you are not aware of Dr. Blair, he was an amazing metaphysical scientist. He was a preordained preacher. When he started to learn a couple of things, he stepped back and he started to go more into metaphysics. He met 2 extraterrestrials that look just like us. Mind you, they've been showing us blue aliens, green aliens, red aliens, monstrous aliens. No, they look just like me. They look just like you. Their memories probably have been suppressed, but once they realize who they are, the game is over. But he met ones that know who they were, and if you go listen to, it's the Chicago Meta Center. They have a Telegram, they have a YouTube website, all that good stuff. If you click on my link, I have a link to the metaphysical store as well, or you could get vitamins and different things like that. But he had asked them as terrestrial beings, can you give me a sign? And they actually they told him to look up in the sky, and he was able to see a spaceship. Now, I know this sounds like far, like whatever. Like, I grew up not wanting to watch X-Files because I just thought it was so far-fetched and scary. And like, what are these fucking people talking about? But I have come to a place in my life like, oh my God, they have really been trying to teach us and tell us the truth this whole time. But we are so blind. So I don't even want to use degrading words. But the best way I can explain it is, I rewatched Avatar. And when he got into the Avatar body and stepped into Avatar planet with the Avatar species, he met a girl. And she was like, they called them daywalkers because they knew they were in the body and they weren't like them. Like, the avatars had 4 fingers, but the hybrids had 5. So it was a hybrid between the human DNA and the avatar species, and that's what created a new species. But when she met him, she had to help him fight off like some little monkey things, and she ended up killing them. And she was so upset because she was like, this did not have to happen. She was praying for the dead animal. And then he was like, thank you. And she pushed him away. It was like, you're so stupid. You're like a baby. And I completely get what she means. Like, how can you look like me? How can you act like me? How can we be the same age or whatever? But your mind is like infant. And what I loved about that movie, I guess I'm going to be talking about 2 movies. What I loved about that movie was he took it upon himself to become not like a baby. He matured. He became like a leader. He took all the things that she was teaching him, and he excelled. Her grandfather had mastered one of these. It was birds in the movie that reminds me of dragons. So, bitch, I do feel like dragons was fucking real. It was big-ass birds that we wasn't as scared of because we were one with a lot of things. Unlike now, we're disconnected from a lot of things. But anyways, they would link their hair to the tail of the animal and become one. And once you link, you're linked for life. So those two had linked for life, even though he didn't tell her, you know, what the true mission was. He had no link with the damn horse. He had no link with the damn dragon. But her grandfather had conquered like the biggest bird, and he felt so bad about what he did, and he just wanted to make everything right. He conquered that big ass bird, and she was so upset with him, like she didn't want to see him anymore. But when she saw him with that motherfucking bird, I know exactly how she felt. She was like, yes, there go the king, there go the leader. So I don't want to degrade anyone, because we all are seeds and we're all going to grow when we're supposed to grow. But the point is, you have inside of you what it takes to grow. But the question is, are you going to do what you can to grow into the best that you can be? And nobody can do that for you. It's up to you. But let me get back to Unbreakable. Now, in Unbreakable, it was like yin and yang to me. One man was very, very strong. He got a train accident. Everybody else died but him. He never was sick growing up. He had gotten in a car accident with his girlfriend at the time, later wife, and they done had a son. He didn't die in a car accident. Just like, he just started reflecting on his life. He never broke bones. He never died. He's super strong. Him and his son lifting weights. I think he got up to 350. And he didn't even know that about himself. He had met his twin flame, I want to call it, because I really feel like there is a twin. We probably have so many twins. People have always come up to me and be like, somebody look just like you. Somebody look just like you. Let me show you a picture. Somebody look just like you. So I really feel like we are living multiple lives, probably on this earth and on other planets and other, levels of existence and yada, yada, yada. So shout out to the other Meesh. I hope you guys are doing well and learning so we can get our lessons and get the fuck about this planet. But, so his twin flame, or his opposite, or his yin or his yang, or his, the complete opposite of him, was born with broken arm, broken leg. Always would break his bones playing with his, schoolmates on the playground. Always got hurt. But his mom introduced him to comics. And what I took from that was, history may be full of lies, but truth is around us. It's in movies, they got us thinking they're fiction. It's in comics, they got us thinking they're fiction. It's in books, they got us thinking it's fiction. It's just like, the stuff that they tell you is real, turn away and go look at the stuff that they tell you is fake, because that's really where the truth is buried. But so I'm not done with the movie yet. I fell asleep watching it. But so far, my take on it is, for every strong one, there is a weak one. There are dualities, polar opposites, but also twin flames, and they need each other. Like, they can't exist without each other. And the reason I put this in this podcast is because that reminds me of hot weather, cold weather. Without the hot weather and the cold weather, we would never see tornadoes, right? They need each other, so to speak. So let me continue. Life has pairs. The birds need the air. The fish need the sea. The trees need the earth to create new land. Fire and lava is needed. We as humans seem to need all of them: the air, the water, the earth, and fire. But just as animals have pairs, like even in the Bible, they took the animals 2 by 2. Even as God, he made Adam for Eve, like pairs. There's always pairs. So what I took from this on a personal level is, if you have not found your pair mate, and that could be you to your purpose in life, you to your mate, you to your child, you to what you like to do to create, you to what you like to do for fun, just whatever is missing as far as your pair, hold tight and keep doing what you are doing. Just know that it's all about divine timing. As far as the relationship is concerned, they could be running late on their path of meeting you, and vice versa. You could be late on your path for meeting them. And you know what? I thought it was so funny when I said that, because I was talking to my sister yesterday, and she read the Alchemist book. And my favorite part in the Alchemist book is when he met his soulmate. He didn't stay with her. He said he needed to finish his journey, but that he would come back. And I feel like, sometimes it do be like that. Sometimes you may have met your partner, don't even know it. Y'all still got to walk y'all different paths, and y'all may circle back around. My sister even mentioned that about her husband today. My mom even mentioned that about her husband. So I got all of this from tornadoes, y'all. It just be crazy how the messages be coming. They both remember breaking up and saying, if it's meant to be, we'll come back together. And hey, lo and behold, they both were together, married years. So it be like that sometimes. Sometimes you could grow together. Sometimes you have to grow apart before you can get together. So I'm going to finish that movie, Unbreakable. I know it's a lot more in there. I'm definitely about to look at comics more, because there's another comic show. What was the name of that comic show? I can't even remember, but it was really, 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 really good. But because I've never been in comics, I never would have known about it. I just had it. It's called Love. Not Lovely Bones. That was a sad movie. It was called Love. God dang. Go look up an anime movie with love in it, because I can't remember the other part. But it was about black people. Love Witchcraft County. I think that's it. Love Witchcraft County. And the white people knew all the spells and stuff, but they took it from the black people. And it was up to the black people to remember and take the magic back from them, because it was never supposed to be in their hands to begin with, which is kind of how Avatar was. They was on this magical place. Humans wasn't even supposed to be there. Now humans trying to take all their trees, all the minerals and stuff like that for what? Money. That's kind of how life is. I feel like there was a species here doing just fine in nature, and another species landed and took over and got us all out of our element. We're not supposed to be living in brick homes. We're supposed to be living one with nature. It's supposed to be a simple life. People may laugh at those people living in tree houses, but I really feel like that's how we were supposed to be. Not to say that you need to be tearing down trees to live, but there's just a simpler way of living that I think you're supposed to be living in harmony with this stuff. We should be able to live in harmony with the tree. The tree's able to live, you're able to live. The animals are able to live, you're able to live. Of course, everything needs to defend itself, but them pigs, them cows, them chickens, them turkeys, who's defending them? I mean, I don't know. That could be a whole other podcast. But if I were God, because we are made in His image, right? So I'm pretty sure God thinks kind of how we think. Even in the Bible, it says God was sad that He even created us. That's horrible. Can you imagine having a child and be sad that you birthed that child? Like, that child had to fuck up royally for you to feel that way. I don't even think parents feel that way. So just imagine, no matter what they child do, because they sure be on front row. Your whole child done committed murder, and them parents still be on front row loving their baby. But yeah, I just felt like I'm gonna go look at comics. Oh, and this is where I was going with it. So Dr. Blair he's passed away, but his predecessor is keeping things going for him, and he gave a list of movies, cartoons, animes, miniseries, like a list of stuff to watch. And I've watched a few of them, and I'm just going back and crossing them off. And I even want to go back and look at the ones that I've looked at before with my spiritual conscious, or my spiritual eyes, my spiritual ears, my spiritual heart, just this new way that I see things now, to see what new messages that I will get out of them. And I think I went over that before with you guys. Well, one day I'll go over that list again, and Unbreakable was one of them. So check out Unbreakable and tell me what spiritual message you get out of it, okay? So let's see. Oh, I had one more thing about Unbreakable. One got the knowledge, which was the one that was in the wheelchair, and he woke the other one up. He woke the strong one up. So also my takeaway about that is to look into comics more, because the truth is usually hidden in plain sight. And I do feel like there may be weak ones right now, but they are trying to wake up the strong ones. And you know what that reminds me of? My grandma them was like, what? Okay, let's look at my ancestral line. I am African American. We was running away, getting caught by dogs and hung. Babies getting fed to alligators, like just horrendous. I could not have survived. I would have died day one. But look how strong people in my generational lines were. So let's bring it back to my grandmother. She was Black Panther. She couldn't go into certain restaurants. She had to drink out of nasty ass water fountains. Just like, imagine what she had to go through. Probably couldn't stand up to a white man or a white woman. Probably had to do whatever they wanted her to do just because God created her brown. Like, make it make sense. So then fast forward to my parents. They would go to school, wouldn't do nothing to these white people, and they would throw eggs at them. Bitch, I would already be in jail. Just like the temperance that I have, through the roof. And then fast forward to me, my grandma said that we are very, very sensitive. I had to look at it that way. Like, oh my gosh, they did overcome so much stuff, but we don't want them to call us out of our gender name. We don't want them to, and I myself am very, very sensitive. So I get what she's saying, but I want to bring it back to this. He was very weak in that wheelchair, but he was very strong mentally. I feel like because we have internet and we can read these books and stuff, we may be weak as in there was, Black Panther and fighting and running away and all that stuff. They may have been physically strong, but I think we are mentally strong now. But most importantly, I think we're supposed to use that mental strength and knowledge about who we are and for the physically strong ones, which is going to be the next generation. Because they don't play, baby. I don't know if you've watched these kids recently, but they're a whole nother breed and they do not fucking play. So I just hope that we all, get what we're supposed to be, to learn what we're supposed to learn, to pass it down to the next generation. Because life is a generational game. It's generational. Look at the trees. Those trees are how old? Generational. My grandmother is going to be 77 this year. She went through so much for my parents. My parents went through so much for me. I'm going through so much for my seeds. My siblings are going through so much for their seeds. And it's just going to continue. Life is about legacy. It's about your seeds. So, yeah, let me go on. So the next reco would be a podcast reco. I'll be listening to The School of Greatness. And on this particular episode, the guest was Dr. Raul Jandile. He was explaining how to heal your body and your mind. So you guys know that in lieu of this spiritual tornado message that I got, I have been called to tap into my emotions. I've also been called to get a moonstone or a moon ring so that I can tap into my intuitions more. And the more I think about it, your emotions are different ways that your intuition communicates. Wow, I just put that together. But I recently went through something and I got a feeling, an intuition that I did not listen to. And so here I am today dealing with the consequences of not listening to my intuition. But also the moment I confessed, that feeling went away. So although this might be a very disastrous situation, I learned something. I learned what that feeling means. I learned what happens when I don't listen to it. And I learned what happens when I correct it. So it's like, okay, I always tell my mom, like, I learned through going. It's never she said don't do that. It's always my ass got to go through some shit. But hey, because I have to feel it. When I feel it, I learn from it. So I just hate that. But yeah, that's me. So I have a link for that podcast. Check it out. It's so amazing because he dropped out of high school. He was a fucking security guard and now is a fucking brain surgeon. Like, don't let anybody tell you that you can't be anything. One thing you can do, baby, is be any motherfucking thing that you want to be, period. You just got to do what it takes to get there. And it's a lot that you may have to sacrifice. It's some people that you might have to meet. It's some hurdles that you might have to jump over. But if you really want to do it that bad, you can do it. You really, really can. Like, I thought that I could never pass the real estate test, and I did. It was just some things that I need to change, how I need to focus, yada, 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 and I'm here. And by the way, y'all, Spirit brought me a black broker, and I cannot wait to get this ball going. But you have to pay your desk fees. You have to pay your monthly association fees to be a part of a realtor. And so it's not cheap. And what the first realtor told me when she referred me to the broker is you need to have a full-time job just until you build your clientele up. She was like, I do work from home. I know I'm going to love that. But she was like, it is expensive. And we all know real estate is zero pay until, it's 100% commission. So you do not get a check until the house is sold or bought. So you're basically, just like we do these damn jobs, work first and then get paid fucking later. Same damn thing. Just your job just does a little bit faster. But that's what my heart is pulling me towards, because I don't want my people to have to work. Baby, get that credit where it need to be. Buy this motherfucking land. Become a landlord, just like they motherfucking asses is doing. Because I remember going downtown. I was like, how is these people in these restaurants eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner? What the fuck? Why they ain't at goddamn work? And why there ain't a lot of meat in there? A lot of other races, but we ain't in there. Our asses is at work. And it hit me like, not everybody fucking works. There's other ways to make money. This is just what we choose to do, which definitely reminds me of picking cotton on the goddamn field. And I think I'm just over it. But check out that particular podcast. Emotions were coming to me, and Spirit is sending me YouTube videos and just lots of messages to travel back in my mind to a lot of trauma, pick out those emotional wounds, and to talk about them, journal about them, send them love, send them healing, clear them, so that I can get ready to move forward. And the more I think about my life, I know why things are the way they are and why I'm not where I need to be. Like, when I clear this trauma and just become a better me, you give birth to who you are. The vibration that you're at, the mentality that you're at, what you know, your love, like all of that stuff is what you give birth to. So we've been wondering why it's a lot of chaos in the world. People were in states of chaos, breeding chaos babies. Like, it just makes sense. If we have more high vibrating beings, more conscious beings, more people that have learned their lessons and doing this the right way, you're going to breed those types of seeds. Hello. But I'm just so happy that I was able to recognize that and do the work before they come. I have heard a lot of moms tell me constantly, like, be grateful that you're able to do the work before these kids come, because it's hard trying to do the work for yourself, do the work with your partner, and try to teach your kids at the same time. So let me just count my blessings. Thank you, universe. Okay, so the next one, Reiki healing prayer reco, would be to all of the tornado victims and basically all the disaster victims over the world, because I try not to watch the news, but I'm pretty sure they're bombing the fuck out of Ukraine. And I've been hearing little snips about Africans trying to run away. And I don't know. It's just like, Earth is just like a hot mess. So angels, spiritual babies, ancestors, deities, God, universe, just send your love and frequent healing to, victims of, these tornadoes, which some of them are created by DARPA. Some of them really are spiritual. We don't need to pray for those. They're doing what they need to do. But I know DARPA fucking some shit up too. All these floods and tornadoes, they don't go to war on the ground as much, because they're able to do weather wars. They can do satellite wars. They can do 5G wars. Speaking of 5G, oh my God. So my sister is reading the book, The Invisible Rainbow. And she's like texting me like, oh my God, I'm already on chapter 4. Da-da-da. And it just brings such a big smile on my face, so much joy and love in my heart. Like this is like the path I'm supposed to be on. I'm supposed to be reading these books, sharing and enlightening people. It just feels like I lit a flame on her. They will all listen like, yeah, here she go talk about 5G. But I don't think you get stuff until you're supposed to get it. So I read the book. I'm trying to explain the book. I just handed her the book. And with her reading it, she's like, oh my God. And I looked up this article. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be lighting each other's flames. And I don't know if you can hear the energy, but that just makes my day. Like, I really am like a librarian. I really am like a nerd. I don't know. I really just love like truth and wisdom and just justice and right. And that may not always translate the same way here on earth, because the same way they was trying to say slavery was okay, bitch, no the fuck it was not. Not then, not now, because that shit is still going on right now. They trying to make it to where pedophiles can date these kids, and they're trying to give them a name, a pedo little name, to where a child can consent to an adult raping them. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I just saw too that they're trying to make it okay to kill a baby from 1 to 5 years old. Who is even allowing this stuff to make it to court, to even be considered, to be drafted into law? That's why there are human laws, but I do not agree with them. I definitely do not. My heart, mind, body, and soul do not agree with them. I may have to abide by them by time to time, but that is not where I pull my all from. My all comes from myself. I am a child of God, my intuition, and my creator. And I just know that when we all meet God one day, he's not going to be pleased with a lot of stuff that's going on here. And I just feel for those people that are riding that wave, thinking that they got it okay now. Baby, you have to meet the piper one day. And good luck with that. So let's see. So I can't wait when she's finished with the book. She's only on 4, and that's a fat-ass book. I'll ask her. Maybe we could do a podcast together on 5G, because I'm more like compassionate and like, and she's more logical or whatever. Like, I still use my phone to this day, but I have a necklace. I have a 5G necklace that I put on, because although I can read books, I still use Pinterest and YouTube and, this podcast to do the phone, to do the podcast, stuff like that. So yes, I do love technology, but I just feel like they should educate us about this technology that we're using. Let us know that it causes Alzheimer's and cancer and all this other stuff, and ways that we can protect ourselves. We still gonna fucking use it, but the least you could do is help protect us. Same thing with condoms. These people around here gonna be having sex. Get them some condoms to protect themselves. We're gonna be riding these death mobiles. Give us a seatbelt so that if we do happen to get in an accident, we can secure ourselves to avoid, the trauma or flying out the damn window. It's just like, they finally put the damn label on the cigarettes. They finally put the damn label on the alcohol. Like, there should be no finally. You know what the fuck this shit is doing. Put the fucking label on there and let it be what it's going to be. I don't know. This is why I know I'm not from here. It's just like I don't relate with a lot of shit that they try to make seem okay. Let's see what this time is. So the music record that I have is I Told the Storm. So I've been looking at YouTube a lot, learning about trauma and emotions, and just like, how people, what to do when people are unkind to you or they're constantly going over your boundaries. Just like everything that affects me, I'm just like looking it up now and just trying to make myself better. When certain things happen, I'll talk it over with my parents. I'll talk it over with my sisters. Like, I'm not wrong, right? Like, check this out. And they're like, no, you are not wrong. You're right. Stand in your power. And I'm like, okay. I thought it was me or whatever. So as I was doing that, I kept seeing I Told the Storm. This is 4 now. I Told the Storm. And I never clicked on it. And I clicked on it today. And this beautiful woman is singing I Told the Storm. And I feel like that's a message to me. Now, although this storm is brewing, that's what I told the storm. So I'm going to pause for a moment and let you hear this little clip. One moment.
Even though your winds blow, I want you to know you cause me no alarm, 'cause I'm safe in his arms. Even though your rain falls, I can still make this call. Let there be peace. Now I can say, go away. I command you to move today, because
Yes, I should run that back and let y'all hear me, because I was in the choir. Hello. Now, just an undiscovered artist. I swear I could sing. At least it sounds like I could sing in my head, in the shower, and when I be recording on these little app called Smule. But maybe that's not what I'm supposed to do this life around. But it does bring me peace, joy, and fulfillment, and I do sing and put my little snippets out there, and it does raise my vibration. My dad sings, me and all my sisters sing. We all love music. There's just healing there. So, baby, I was raised in the church. Now them songs got power in them. Okay, so let's see. Our next reco, which would be a spiritual teacher, mentor, or guide that I want to recommend. For this particular episode, the spiritual teacher is your emotions. Yes, your emotions are a spiritual teacher. They speak a whole language. It's called emotional intelligence, or intuition, if you will. What I'm finally putting together is how you feel at all times about everything, whether it's work, people, anything in general. It is your compass of if you're heading in the right direction, right? So I've had a hurricane, as I've explained, of emotions lately, and they are letting me know loud and clear that things need to change. Not now, but yesterday. And it's been time for me to listen. I have ordered some books on emotional intelligence and how to heal trauma, and I'll be podcasting on those in the future, so stay tuned. But the emotional teacher that I want to bring your attention to is yourself, your emotions. When something good happens, there's a feeling that you feel that confirms that good thing. When something bad happens, there's a bad feeling that you feel that confirms that bad things. Sometimes before anything happens, you get those feelings, and you're like my mom is a prime example. She can tell before anything happens what's gonna happen. She's just like, I'm bracing for something. Like she can feel it coming before it comes. I get dreams about things before they come. I'm starting to pay attention to my feelings. I be ignoring them bitches. But it's almost like a foresight, and everybody has it in a different way. I forgot the name of the book that I was reading about all the spiritual gifts, and I did a podcast on it. But some doctors aren't just doctors. When they look at their patient, there's a bubble on top of the person's head that's telling a story about what that person went through. And when I think about tarot readers, and I think about, people with these amazing gifts, we just look at them and just think that they are just doing a regular. No, baby. It's a gift inside of them that is allowing them to do that. People may hear dead people. Nobody wants to talk about that. People may see dead people. Nobody wants to talk about that. People can look into the future. Nobody wants to talk about that. People can touch you and pick up stuff, just like the movie Unbreakable I was telling you about. But nobody wants to talk about that. And unless we tune in to these gifts, they either lay dormant or they're just unused, untapped in. Just imagine if our schools were built on that. Okay, congratulations, you had a child. She's a seer. We're going to put her in seer school. Just like all these fucking fiction movies that they give us and tell us they're fiction. No, it should be a fucking real Harry Potter school. We all have spiritual gifts. We're not just human beings, but no one is helping us develop our spiritual gifts. And the only spiritual gift is not just becoming a pastor and standing on a pulpit screaming and preaching at people. And they do a lot of help, but there's so much more. People can have the gift of reiki in their hands where they could go around healing people. Now, you can't believe in something but not believe this stuff to be true, because in the Bible it definitely says, Jesus said, and you will do more greater things than me. And last time I checked, he picked up mud and healed the blind man, touched somebody and woke them from the dead. Hello, that means we should be doing this shit today, even greater. Say, move to this mountain and this mountain shall move. That means power of the lips, power of the words, power of the tongue. But we go to church every Sunday, 365, until the day we die, 80 fucking 90, 100 years old, and no one's ever taught us how to tap into these gifts. So yeah, the teacher is going to be emotional. Your emotions, listen to them. Listen to everything your body is telling you. If you have dreams, listen to them. Research it. Figure out what more that is. If you could look into the future, figure out more that what is. If you touch people, if you give people amazing hugs like my dad, that's like healing. He has the gift to heal in a hug, a fucking hug. Imagine if he focused on his hands. He probably could be waking people up from the dead. So, yeah, I feel like I have spiritual gifts on both sides of my family. So me and my siblings are very, very powerful, and we're waking up to these gifts. And, we're just protecting ourselves because we see this world for what the fuck it is. And if you think if we don't know we're powerful and we're understanding this, just imagine how powerful these babies is finna be. Because we got a late start, but baby, they finna have a head start. Okay, so let's see. Good book recos would be, if you click on my Pinterest for spiritual tornadoes, it's going to be 2 articles in there. One about spiritual tornadoes and the other one about tornado outbreak slams the deep south on April 5th. And it's actually called Storm Quotes on Pinterest. So I am going to go over those 2 articles in the next 2 episodes. Y'all know I'm long-winded. So this was part 1 of spiritual tornadoes. Tune in for the next episode where I go over those articles. And then I'm going to ask you, what did you get out of it? Because we all interpret things differently. We can all look at a picture. One picture says 1,000 words, right? And if we all looked at one picture and somebody asked us what word came to mind, we will all give different words. Or what does this picture look like to you? What did you feel from this? What did you get from this? That's just how diverse we are. So I used to think, if I tell this person this, they will get this. No, I had to understand even on the spiritual path, just like a lot of people can claim Christian, but you look up Christianity, there's so many different Orthodox. It's the same with spiritual. I don't know why I thought this was going to be any different. You have people that are practicing spirituality to harm. You have people that are practicing spirituality to heal themselves. You have people that are practicing spirituality to heal others. There's so many different walks of the spiritual life as well, and I have to realize that. So now I will just give you the information and let you decide, well, what did you get from that? Because I can't just assume that you are a healer. You might be going to take this information and go harm people. So I just have to understand that we are all different. When we get communication or we learn things, we may do different things with it. How I also learned about that too is, as I've been learning about trauma, there's different ways you can heal trauma. You can listen to music. My niece was telling me she loves listening to low vibe music. It soothes her. I'm like, no, it makes me want to cry and walk towards the damn bridge. But she doesn't feel that way. I like happy music, like I'm so happy. And, just party rockers in the house tonight. When we first started going to the club, we used to go to the pop clubs. And it was always this like high vibrating dance music. Pop music. Like I just love it. And then we learned about trap and, twerk and this whole world that we're in now. But there's healing in music too, even sound bowls. You can even take a bowl or a glass in your kitchen and hit it with a spoon. As frequencies, there are different levels of frequencies that can raise your vibration or lower your vibration, and they're also putting that in your music. That's why they killed Tanashi was trying to tell us. That's why they killed Michael was trying to tell us. All his music was love frequency. Love hurts. They ain't want that in this world. He gone. If you don't hear it playing on the radio too much, do you? But I digress. I was going somewhere with that. So music was just one way to heal your trauma. Paint. I was painting with my mom and sister the other day. I did not know painting is a form of trauma healing. What the fuck? And I just, it definitely is, because my best friend loves to paint. They have those adult coloring or adult paint by numbers, and she loves to paint. My mom does puzzles. My mom does these little tiny ass bees, and she puts it on this big ass picture, and when she's done, you see those little million bees on the picture, and she says it's so soothing. No, my brother washed dishes, and he says it's soothing for him. My mom does it too, and I'm like, okay, it's just something that needs to get down to me, but it's not soothing. Taking a bath to me is soothing. Turn off the lights, light the candles, line up your crystals, light the incense, put on some music, put some bath salt in there, put some Epsom salt in there, put some Himalayan salt in there, put some fragrance in there, light a candle, like all of that. For me, that's like my kind of therapy. Massages are therapy. Journaling, I didn't know spiritual journaling was therapy. So the more I learn about, because I'm still going through the whole trauma world, but the more I learn about it, I'll start to share, and of course there'll be a podcast on that as well. But cooking is a form of therapy. Like, what the fuck? So I really feel like when I was learning about trauma, I just feel like everybody is walking around undiagnosed as fuck, sick as fuck. And that's why they call Jesus a healer. He literally was healing sick ass people. The world is sick. Everybody. Like, we are so wounded from our childhood. No one's taking a moment to just stop and breathe and heal the childhood. No, it's right from childhood. All your traumatic ass shit and thrown into somebody's office to work until you die. The fuck? And then you breed trauma ass babies and the cycle continues. It's like, no, it's not how this world is supposed to be. It's supposed to be healing. Another trauma that I didn't know about was generational trauma. So I'm very passionate about my heritage. African Americans, Indians, witches. I just feel like in my past lives, I was in all of those, because I really feel them to my core. I feel like I was burned on the stake. I feel like I was hung. I feel like, these invaders came and disrupted my homeland. That's my negative feelings, and scattered my people around and infected us with diseases and stuff. And when I go back and look at this shit through history, they feel like memories. It don't look like something I'm learning. It's bringing up PSTD. I say that to say there is generational trauma. Our DNA, number one, if we're soul beings and we never die and we come back to this, cycle back around to this shit, all your lives are in your DNA. You could do past life regressions to go back. And I am going to do that one day to confirm what I already know. because I like confirmation. But you can have generational PTSD. You can have slavery PTSD. You could have generational, it's not just a generational curse, it's trauma that your people went through that was carried down through your DNA. So even right now today, when someone talks to me a certain way, it just reminds me of a slave master on a horse talking to me with a headscarf on and a basket of cotton, picking some shit. Like, I just don't like it, and I be wanting to snap, but I understand I have to watch my words. They're gonna cause trauma. I don't want to be on this bitch longer than I need to be, and it's just like a form of trauma too is freeze. I definitely freeze. So I like to say that I don't communicate, but I feel like I freeze. I can journal, I can write down everything that I feel, and I can let it come out more eloquently, more respectfully. But in the moment, you're going to get these raw emotions, and it is what it is, and I might be more damaged. I might be more bad than good. So just like a lot to unpack. Like, you are the way you are because of trauma. You are the way you are because of generational things that you may not even know about. You are the way you are, and that's okay. Start to sit down and unpack a lot of things about you and learn yourself. The better you learn yourself and heal yourself, the better you will be for the world. People are watching you and they're learning, and they can grow too. And to me, that's really what this life is about. If everybody was focused on healing, the world would be a better place. But no, we all traumatized out as fuck, hurting other people, hurt people, and that's what this world is. Like, everybody's hurting everybody. And there's a few people that are loving, and it's so traumatic for them because they're like, the fuck? And I remember I was talking to my dad. I was like, Jesus did not die on the cross. How could you kill a God? Jesus was like, all right, enough is enough. Fuck these people, I'm out. Because, like, how do you kill a guy? Like, let's be real. You are the one that raised someone from the dead, and you mean tell me that you died? And it even says that he gave up his soul. He gave up his soul, my ass. He gave up. He was like, fuck it. Y'all want to let Barabbas free and kill me? Fine, you on your own. And we've been left to the demise of being on our own. So sometimes I can't even get mad. We are where we are because we chose what we chose. Not enough people stood up and said, leave Jesus alone. He ain't doing nothing. He just around here healing people. Free Jesus and not Barabbas. So it's like we're kind of stuck with the consequences of our ancestors too. So I don't know. There's just so many different ways to look at this thing called life. But I'm going to catch you guys on the next episode where we're going to get into those articles with the spiritual tornado. Let me wrap this up. You know, your girl is long-winded as usual. This was a good one. So what we say, it's 7.9 billion people in this world, yet you met me. That's not by happenstance. This is a divine meeting. May we guide each other well. If life is like a school, what lesson did you learn today? What class did you take today? Did you pass or fail the test or pop quiz? If so, it's okay. Failing allows you to restudy an area that you're weak in so that you could try again and be better than before and pass with a 100. Just keep learning, evolving, and spreading love. And I hope you see the fruits of your labor. Namaste, love, stay, and always vibe. Bye. Hi, babe. And even if you don't, because this is Earth, after all, I will always say that. There's dualities, there's polarities, which means there's going to be ups and downs. Life is a roller coaster. Ride the wave. Like, all this stuff is kind of telling us you're going to be in and out, up and down, all around, right? So even when things are low, feel. Learn what is teaching you. Learn the lesson, journal, get help, get therapy, dance, paint, journal, cook, like whatever your muse is. Figure out what helps you get up when you're down, and just feel it. Because usually when tough things happen, it's really just teaching us something. So at the end of the day, the emotions will pass. Oh, I saw a quote today too. It was saying, I took a picture of it. Let me read it. This is how my messages be coming, y'all. So my message was, in Irish, when you talk about emotion, you don't say I am sad. You say sadness is on me. Tabran orm. And I love that because there is an implication of not identifying yourself with the emotion fully. I am not sad. It's just that sadness is on me for a while. Something else will be on me another time, and that's a good thing to recognize. So when I say, vibe high or vibe low, don't worry, you're going to come back up. I have to realize that sadness came to visit me, or this test came to visit me, or this situation has came to visit me. It will pass. I'm not going to live this forever. Even people in jail get out. A lot of people have got out for whatever is going on behind the scenes. A lot of people have been released, and they've been calling in about them stimulus checks, but a lot of people have been released early. I really do feel like a lot of people that was in jail for marijuana should just be cleared, let them out. All drugs, really. If people want to do drugs, let them do drugs and just tax the shit up out of it. But murderers and rapists and, just different stuff, I actually want to do another podcast on that too, because if they're sick too, they need help. Is jail helping them? It's not really helping them. They still have that illness. So I want to talk about that too from a different perspective. But so life is not going to be up. It's going to be down. Vibe high. Understand this emotion. It came to visit you. Learn from it. It will pass. And you'll move on and live to see another day. So I think that was it, right? I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Hey, love, and welcome to the Love MEESH Podcast. I am your host, Meesh. There are 1 billion people in the world, and I'm just one of them. And welcome to my podcast, where I'll share my thoughts, opinions, and ramblings, and sometimes I'll have guests, and no subject is off limits. So let the conversation begin. Mimi, go Mimi. It's the MEESH Podcast. Hey, go me, go Mimi. Thanks a billion for listening. You can reach me on other social media platforms at www.linktr.ee/luv.meesh. I hope you have a better than great day. Love ya. Talk to you later. Mwah. Bye. Go Mimi. It's the MEESH Podcast. Hey, go me, go Mimi.